Shannon, what percent of the blame does LeBron deserve for the Lakers? And it wasn't just a loss, a blowout loss here.
Skip, I'm a Romanian judge here. I'm going to give him 8.75. 8.75% of the blame. Out of 10.
That's all?
Out of 10.
Oh, out of 10.
That's what you said, right?
Oh, so you got to multiply it by to get it up to like 100%. So you're like 87%? Are you really?
Hold on. I thought you said it on a scale of 1 to 10. You wanted me to give a grade. You don't want me to give a grade. But Skip, look. LeBron is the ringleader. He gets the lion's share of the credit when things go well. So it's only fair that I give him lion's share of the blame when things go bad. And he didn't get out to the greatest of starts, and no one got out to the greatest of starts, Skip. And for what the ball just won't go in right now. And it was good to see Skip. And I know the game was already decided, but it looks like he found a little stroke in the third quarter. He got 17 points in the third. So maybe that's something that can carry on. But Skip, when you get 11 points from your other starters, it's gonna be a sad night. And I'm trying to watch both games. I'm watching the Lakers game on one TV. I'm watching the Nuggets Portland game on the other TV. And Skip, I get midway through the second quarter, and they got like 2 points. And then I got like 3 minutes left in the quarter, and they got like 6 points. I said, you know what? It's time for me to put my emphasis on the other. They're not coming back from this. They didn't play well, Skip. I mean, Schroeder plays 26 minutes and gives you 0 points. KCP, Skip, remember I told you, I said, yeah, I understand he's coming back. But you can tell, Skip, he's not the same player. Keith Morris, 4 points. Even Skip, I don't really know what they expect Drum. Drum gave you 13 rebounds, 4 offensive rebounds. And the little bit that he played, Skip, he played what? Now, can we come to the conclusion Gasol ain't the answer? I think we can agree to that, Skip. I think probably you in my corner now said, you know what? Drum's a better player. But Skip, they got to do better than this. I mean, what, they were 3 for 20? At 3 for 15 in the first half for 3-point shots. They made 9 in the second half, but the game was decided. The game was decided early on. They let Book get off to that great start. And then, look, Jay Crowder hit a couple of shots. Bridges hit some shots. But this game was decided. So I'm going to put the lion's share of the blame on LeBron because I expected him to come out. But, you know, he can only do so much. He can't make the shot for the guys. But his shot wasn't going early. I thought he settled too much for the 3-ball. And sometimes it's a blessing and a curse, Skip. You see the first one, go ahead, keep it.
If he makes the first one, sometimes it's the worst thing that can happen to him.
Hey, Keith, he got off. He hit his first 3. I was like, okay, we might be on to something. And then I think we made one more of the 13 that we attempted. So I'm going to give LeBron, I think rightfully so, Skip. I think the lion's share of the blame should be placed at his feet. But I can assure you one thing, you won't see a repeat performance like this on Thursday.
Really?
I bet you that.
Really?
Yes, really. And I want 3 Ks of dew on it right now.
Before we get there, and we will get there, let's look back at last night first, because first is first.
That's a nightmare.
It was a nightmare. So, I want to first thank you, and I want to publicly appreciate you for being as objective about your man LeBron James as I have ever heard you in the history of Undisputed, the almost 5-year history of Undisputed. You have never been so scathingly, openly, critically objective about your man LeBron James as you were last night, because I was prepared for the onslaught here. I thought I would hear that Schroeder was 0 for 9 last night, which he was.
He was.
I thought I would hear that KC3 barely came back for, 15 minutes and limped back to the bench, still suffering his left knee. I think it's a contusion, but he's got soreness in his left knee, and he took 1 shot in the game and missed it. I thought I would hear that Caruso was 2 for 8. I thought we'd go down to Wesley Matthews was McLemore. 1 for 5, and nobody did nothing.
No, not it.
The Lakers were pathetic. But the point is, your man, the quote-unquote GOAT, was even worse.
Right.
I went 75% of the blame. You're actually saying it's higher than that. I told you yesterday, I thought this was a golden moment for him, a national TV opportunity to make a late career GOAT case. If he came out in Phoenix against Chris Paul back, we thought 100%. I know he got dinged again and had another boltish pain down his right arm. I don't know his status going forward. He did shoot the 2 free throws thereafter and made both of them. I'm going to guess he's going to play.
Right. Oh, yeah, he's going to play. Now, how effective he'll be.
Okay.
Because he didn't look as good last night as he did on Sunday, Skip.
Okay, but the point was we thought he was sort of back to normal going into last night.
Yep.
We know that team was 51-21 in the regular season, and we know that there was no Anthony Davis. He was only cheerleading, and we saw him before the game try to go a little side to side, and he just really couldn't go side to side.
He done.
So what are the odds he's going to play Thursday?
None. 0 odds.
I will guess this. If it does get to Game 7, I'm going to guess he'll try to play in Game 7, and I'm also going to guess that he's going to be very limited in Game 7, and he will risk pulling it worse if he tries to play in Game 7. Now back to your man, LeBron. Last night was his night, his turn, his opportunity to set the table for his team, to be the early tone setter, to take over the game right out of the box, because I still say Jay Crowder cannot guard him. I still say Jay Crowder and even Bridges are afraid of him. I still say he can be, when he decides to be, the best driver of the basketball in the game, the best I've ever seen, and he remains the best passer in basketball. Yet last night was a scoring night. And I told you yesterday, I need to see him marching to the free throw line. I need to see, I said 20, and I finally amended it to 17 free throw attempts last night.
So what we're going to do is 0.
Okay, he was 0. He was 0. LeBron James shot 0 free throws for only the 3rd time in his whole career. He shot 0 free throws.
So career or playoff career?
I'm sorry, playoff career.
So that's 262 games still.
Yeah. There were 2 other games. 2007 against Detroit. Remember when he finally had the 48-point in Game 6 to get them over the hump into the finals against the Spurs. In Game 1, he shot 0 free throws. And then 2013 against my Spurs in the first game back in San Antonio, Game 3, he shot 0. They lost that game by 36. So the point is, only for the 3rd time, he never went to the free throw line.
Right.
I'm in shell shock over that. I thought this was his night to put his head down the way Kawhi and Paul George are just putting their head down in Dallas and saying, no, you can't keep us from the rim.
Right.
Because I still think, and like DeAndre Ayton was not a huge presence last night. You can argue that Drummond outplayed him, right? Yeah. Look at Ayton. What did he have? 7 and
8 and 7.
8 and 7. Okay. So here we go. Out of the box, to your point, LeBron whips it right out of they won the tip. He whips it to Markieff, and he steps right into a 3 and makes it, and it's 3-0. And then they go down and miss. Bridges missed, and the Lakers come right back down, and LeBron cuts back door on Crowder, and KCP hits him for a little reverse layup, if we could see this. And it's sweet. Thank you. It wasn't Crowder, this is Booker. He got a switch.
Yeah.
So now, all of a sudden, you're up 5-0, and then you come right back down again after a Booker miss, and he drains the 3, and it's...
I'm feeling good, Skip. I'm feeling good.
Okay, it's 8-3, and I'm thinking, wait a second, that's who I thought we would see. And both of us predicted lines of like 30-something.
Yep.
I had 15 rebounds and 10 assists, and we both had triple-double.
Right.
And I thought, you just launched right into your triple-double. And from that moment on, LeBron James... at 8-3, that's 10-16 left in the first quarter. For the rest of the half, he went 1 of 8, 0 of 2 from 3, and obviously no free throws.
Right.
And he scored a grand total of 2 points.
Right.
They end up giving up a 21-2 run to start the second quarter, which is just impossibly bad. And they lose the first half by 30 points. That's incomprehensible to me that a LeBron James-led team could do that. So if we could see what started happening, he did try to drive the ball occasionally. And if we could see, he tried 3 more drives. I think one was in the first quarter and the next 2 were in the second quarter. Let's see what was happening when he did decide to drive the basketball. Oh, these are the turnovers first. These are turnovers. Okay, that's when they had a chance to really go hard at him. But these are the turnovers. Look at that.
Yeah.
Okay, that's to Keefe, and he just threw it out of bounds. And then this one, I don't know what that was. Now we got the misses coming. Okay, these are the drive misses. A wild shot that barely ticked iron. That's first quarter. Then he drives again. That was, I thought, a foul, and they gave Torrey Craig a block on that.
Yeah, I thought so,
but he's
too.
getting no respect from the refs. And then he tries that, He's kind of off-footed. He's kind of out of rhythm. And he throws it up and gets nothing but glass.
Right.
Those are his 3 drive shots in the first half, and that was it for the game as far as driving the basketball. Well, that's not LeBron James. And I got to tell you, for the first time ever, I kidded you about this yesterday. I said this is going to be a measuring stick late in the career. That was the first time in my time, all my years of watching LeBron, where I thought, maybe Grant Hill is right, because he said, I know you don't listen to the sound, but he suggested mid-second quarter, Father Time is tapping LeBron on the shoulder. Well, that was the first night. I got to be honest with you, and I don't want this to happen because I love watching LeBron. I don't miss 1 second of any game.
Right.
But that was the first time I sat back and said, is he starting to hit the wall? Is he starting to get old right before your very eyes? Because he didn't look right the whole night after that early salvo.
Right.
He looked a little overwhelmed by it. The responsibility of trying to take the game over without Anthony Davis. He looked like he was a little unplugged. He was without passion. He was without urgency. And I thought, well, maybe he's just starting to feel his age where he's thinking, I just can't do this anymore at the level that I'm required to do this.
Well, I think that may be some truth to that. I'm not ready to quite write him off just yet, Skip, but I think the thing is it becomes, with anything, if you do it and all of a sudden, Skip, I'm making great passes and there's no payoff at the end of it.
I got that.
You kind of get frustrated. You're like, well, damn, what else do I have to do?
But I still say they go as he was going to go. Like if he showed them early, I'm on fire. I got fire in my eyes. Well, I think maybe they follow suit.
But I think the thing is with him, it's a fine line, Skip, because he's like, if I go, they're just going to stand around and watch. I really need to try to get them involved, and then I can come along with them.
Okay.
Well, in the process of them trying to get them to go, Skip, I'm getting out of rhythm because I'm not doing anything. I'm just standing around and you guys are turning the ball over. And you showed those plays. That happened like on 3 straight possessions in which he turned the ball over.
He did.
And so
and that's just uninspired.
Right.
Like it's a huge game because now you're in such a hole. Obviously, you have to go beat that team twice. Right. At home, you got a chance. You're a 3-point favorite, so I give you that one. But, man, can you go back there and win Game 7 after what you saw? If there's no AD in Game 7, can you go turn that? Can you flip that script that you just saw?
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know.
You remember the Memorial Day Massacre when Boston beat the brakes off L.A. and everybody said it's over.
Yep.
The series is over.
Mm-hmm.
And a funny thing happened.
Okay.
It wasn't over.
Okay, but nobody on the Lakers was hurt, right? Magic
You got a good point. Kareem.
Well, he still had Kareem and Worthy and Byron, and I was at that series. In fact, I talked to Byron Scott in the weight room at the downtown Marriott after Game 1. He's like, well, we're going to be fine because it was just the first game.
Right.
Well, this was the 5th game.
And, normally the 5th game is the telltale game because now your job is harder. You got to win 2 games. I just got to win 1.
Okay, so then we get all the way down to the 5:40 mark of the 4th quarter. And I got to tell you, I just don't love this, but I'm old school. You're old school, too. And I'm curious what you thought. All of a sudden, LeBron says, I've seen enough. I'm checking it out. I'm going into the locker room.
What did he say? Got a head start on treatment?
Yeah. Vogel defended it. He said he's got to start his treatment early. No, he doesn't. He just couldn't take it anymore. He did not want to associate with that mess that was out on the floor and on the bench. Like, I'm better than this. I can't take it anymore. The shame is too great. I'm just going inside.
Right. It's definitely not a good look, Skip. It's definitely not a good look. He'd probably go in if you're going to put ice, just having to bring ice.
Well, you could put ice on it.
On your knees.
Yeah.
And obviously, Skip, you don't want to put your feet in the ice bucket because somebody run out of bounds. And then
maybe.
I get all that. But you can put ice bags on your knees. Mm-hmm. It's not a good look, Skip. If you waited that long, because you didn't start the 4th quarter. So if that's the case, Skip, just go on in at the end of the 3rd quarter.
Okay.
But when you're losing as bad as you're losing, and Skip, they're still going to say something because they're like, hold on, if you were up by 36, you wouldn't do this.
No.
So why would you do it when you're down? So, and I get it. You're right. I'm old school. Hey, I'm going to go ahead and sit there and take my punishment like a man because when we win it, I want you to sit across and watch me celebrate. And Phoenix had it going. The crowd was into it. Everybody was doing their job last night. But for whatever reason, Skip, it didn't. After he hit those shots, it just went downhill from there, and I don't know why. I'm racking my brain trying to think, and I'm sitting there watching. I'm like, well, what's going on? I mean, can't anybody? And it's just like, it's just an avalanche because once shots wouldn't go in, it's like everybody lost it.
And then all of a sudden, he became strangely disengaged. And those turnover passes, they weren't like high-risk passes where you're trying to force something that isn't quite there, but you almost pull off a great pass. They were careless passes. They're just like, I'm nonchalant. I don't really care that much about this one. I don't know. Maybe he's setting us up for the big thrill. Maybe, well, you could certainly argue, it better.
You know what's coming.
Well, now it's got to come twice.
That's okay.
What did he post? The storm is coming?
Yep.
Well, it better thunder and lightning on Thursday night, and then they have to turn right around and play Saturday. I think it's at night. I don't even know if
I'm trying to figure out how the Clippers get these kind of breaks, and we ain't getting no break.
Well, I think it's Luka's getting the breaks, right? Because we know he's quote-unquote hurt. He got 3 days off, right?
Yeah.
To heal his quote-unquote neck injury, right?
Yeah, Skip, you know what? Normally, the Lakers, I normally take it pretty hard. I can't sleep. I'm restless. But I slept well last night because I resigned to the fact after, midway through the second quarter that this was over. And there was no, we can make a comeback. It wasn't like Skip, it wasn't like Sunday's game was tough because we were right there. This was like we were really never in it.
Well, you were for 4 minutes. You were ahead 8-3.
Yeah,
and I thought you had it going.
And even in the end of the first, Skip, we got back. We made a ball game of it. What was 27 to? I think we were only down a handful of points. And I was like, okay, I like where we are. LeBron's going to come back, start the second. We're going to get a fresh lineup in there. We'll be good to go. And I'm like,
21-2 to open the second quarter.
Is anybody going to score?
Nope. Your Lakers scored 10 points in the second quarter. That's impossibly bad.
Remember, they scored 15. What was it, game one? They scored 15 in the third quarter or something, Skip.
I'm starting to think that AD, at this stage and age of his career versus LeBron's, that he's more valuable than LeBron is. I'm starting to think that.
You be starting to think wrong.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, you got 2 more chances to prove it, but you had your biggest, easiest chance was last night.
We don't like it easy.
You don't.
Because you just say, you caught them by surprise. We want the pressure to be on us.
Okay. Well, I'll give you some more pressure because my last takeaway from last night was I did not think Phoenix played that great last night. I think Phoenix can play considerably better than they did last night. If you look hard at this box score, okay, look at the three-point shooting. Phoenix shot 33%. So it wasn't like what my Spurs did to LeBron in 2014 finals when they shot him off the floor by a record finals margin from the three-point line. They shot 33%. Devin Booker actually made 2 out of 6, which for him is extraordinary because he's not a three-point shooter.
They let him get going early. Okay. But his mid-range was spot on last night.
Okay, but look at the rebounds. Who won the boards?
Oh, we won the boards.
Well, what's the Pat Riley expression? No rebounds, no rings. Well, you got the rebounds. You won 51-47. And Big Penguin, you can argue, outplayed Ayton.
He did.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay, and then we look at turnovers. It's the only place where they got you. You had 16, which is not horrible.
Skip, they had 4.
They had only 4. So that's how they beat you. They had only 4 turnovers.
Yes.
Right?
And we've been a high turn. And you look at the games that we've lost in this series, they've been high turnovers. You can't, Skip, you can't turn the ball over and not score.
Yep.
And that's what aided it. You that long stretch when they go 21-2. What do? Turnover. They go bucket. And the game gets out of hand. So you're going to have to take better care of the football, better care of the basketball in situations like this.
But finally, did they free throw you out of the gym last night?
We just shot the same amount.
Same amount?
Same
made
percent.
the same amount?
Yeah.
15 to 21. So it wasn't the three-point shot. No. It wasn't the free throws. You can argue it was somewhat the turnovers.
Yeah.
But in the end, they made 56% of their two-point shots, and you made 35%.
Right. And
that's how you got blown out.
But, Skip, if you think about it early, although their three-point percentage wasn't good, but if you look at it when it mattered in the first half, Mikal Bridges, Jay Crowder, they couldn't miss. Devin Booker hit.
And Cameron Payne came in and made some big shots.
They got Cameron Payne out there looking like Mike Conley.
Well, like I say, I don't think they missed CP3 that much.
No.
In fact, he might even, Cam Payne might even be a little bit of an upgrade over CP3 as an offensive threat the way he's hurt right
Well, he can score.
Yeah.
He can get to, I mean, he's getting to the basket against anybody he wants to.
Yeah.
Schroeder, he get to back Caruso. It doesn't matter who they put on
he's
it.
fearless.
Yes.
He's not afraid of this stage.
No, he hitting big shots, big threes, laying the ball. Like I said, Skip, he playing like Mike Conley. And I'm like, come on. But tomorrow's a new day.
Well, the pressure just went through the Staples roof on this one.
Well,
and there's a team in the basement that is still waiting.
Man, nobody care about that team in the basement.
They're waiting to play the team upstairs, but the team upstairs has pressure going through the roof on it right now, and I don't think they can live up to this kind of pressure.
You see, I'm in my morning. I had to change my shirt. I had just a plain white shirt, but I'd have really been in morning. Yeah, you see how dark my suit is, man. You know I don't wear no suits like this.
So, well, you sound like you're giving up.
I ain't giving up nothing.
You talk a good game, but you're not actually playing a good game.
No, Skip. Like I said, I already done shut up 3 Ks to do.
Okay. Well, we're going to talk about that in just a moment here.
You know we're going to win. You know we're going to win Thursday tomorrow, right?
You
know that, Skip, right?
You, Shannon. I feel like it's a sad vibe over there.
Nah, it's
really sad.
It's
somber.
It's a temporary setback.
Yeah.
Temporary setback for a tremendous comeback.
Thank you for watching. You can subscribe here to get the latest from the show, and be sure to check out more of the best clips from Undisputed, or go watch a few other segments from our other shows on FS1.